If your child is gearing up to take the SAT, they may feel pressure or feel intimidated by it, but Priscilla Rodriguez from the College Board says they really don't have to be. She's the Vice President of College Readiness and Assessments, and she joins us now with a little bit of reassurance. Priscilla, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you on. So this is a big time for a lot of students. You know, they're getting ready, gearing up to go to college, so they're taking the big test. What should students expect when they take the SAT?
You're right. It is a big time. We actually have an SAT coming up in March and then a few more later this spring. So it is a busy time for students. And I do want to make sure that students and families know that we completely redesigned the SAT back in 2016. So it's not the SAT we all took. In terms of structure, it's a maximum of 1,600 points, and that's across two sections. So a reading and writing section and then a math section. But the redesign was really more about what the test is measuring. And it was redesigned so that it measures what students actually learn in their high school and what they need to know to go on to college and career. So those vocabulary words that you had to cram on flashcards and the tricky math problems and even the penalty for getting a question wrong, those are all gone. This is about giving students an opportunity to show what they've learned and show their strengths and allow them to put their best foot forward when they apply to college.
So does this redesign, though, still allow students to practice for the test, to get prepared for it in the right way?
Yeah, practice and preparation are key, and the redesign actually is a huge step forward in giving students access to that. So at the same time that we redesigned the actual test, we also partnered with another nonprofit organization called the Khan Academy, and together we developed a free online and personalized practice resource called Official SAT Practice on Khan Academy that students can use to get targeted practice. It's real SAT questions and real full-length SATs. So they get exposure, they can build their confidence, but the tool actually helps diagnose where they're strong and where they should, spend their time practicing. It is completely free, as I mentioned. Over 10 million students have used it already. It's the #1 way to practice and prepare now. And our research shows that just a total of 6 to 8 hours of practice on Official SAT Practice is associated with a 90-point score improvement, which can really change, the trajectory of colleges that students can apply to.
So what do you say, to the fact that colleges, a lot of them are going test optional? Why should somebody still opt to take the SAT?
It's a really good question and a timely one. So stepping back for just a second around test optional, we work with millions of students and families across the country every year. And we do know that the college admissions process overall is pretty confusing and can be really stressful for them. So policies and options that give students more flexibility are certainly appealing to them. But as students and their parents are starting to think about where students are going to apply and how they're going to apply, what they're going to put on that application, when it comes to the SAT and test optional, I think there's two really important things they should keep in mind. The first is, even test optional colleges still accept SAT scores. What that translates to in practice is that the vast majority of applicants are still taking these tests and are still submitting their scores. So something for students to keep in mind. And then the second, and I think this one's really important and not really well understood, which is that many colleges use the SAT score for more than just that admissions decision. So even some test optional colleges will use an SAT score to help decide which first-year classes students should be placed in when they get to that college. And they use those scores to help decide who gets scholarships from the college. So our advice to students and families is don't close doors before you've even gotten started. Keep your options open. Take the SAT. Do that personalized free practice. If you don't love your first score, do some more practice and try one more time. But at least you've got the score in hand if you want to use it, and then you've got information and options that you otherwise wouldn't have.
Yeah, great advice. I mean, the more tools you have in your arsenal, the better your chances are of, like you say, getting scholarships, getting accepted to the college you want to go to. So Priscilla Rodriguez, there's a lot to unpack there. Thanks so much for talking to us.
Thank you so much for having me.
We'll be right back.